Hi everyone, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. We're going to start using 2 yoga blocks, and if you don't have blocks at home, you can use pillows or roll up some blankets, kind of shape them like blocks. And you may want to have a blanket as well as a strap for today's practice. We're going to begin in a supported back bend to help open up the front of the shoulders, though we did have a request for opening up the, stretching the triceps a bit. So start by using one block, place it at the rearmost edge of your mat on its tallest height. It's going to be for the back of your head. And then take the second block at its medium height like this. And you can decide whether to cross the mat or to trace the midline of the mat with it. If you're tracing the midline of the mat, bring the blocks closer together. If you're crossing the mat laterally, then have that medium height block where you could keep your pelvis on the floor and lie back so that the area that is right underneath your shoulder blades lands onto that medium height block, helping to lift the chest and broaden it. And then allow your shoulder bones to roll back and away from your neck as you rest the back of your skull, not the back of your neck, onto the highest block. And then make any slight adjustments here so that you can feel at ease. Your 2 shoulders feel pretty symmetrical, releasing away from the ears. And then roll your upper arm bones externally so that your palms can turn to face up as you rest the backs of your hands on the ground. You can do whatever is comfortable with your legs. You can splay them straight out like you would in Shavasana, or if your lower back needs a stretch across, you can step your feet on the ground wider than hips distance apart and let your knees drop in together to touch. And if you're needing more external rotation for your thighs to stretch into your inner thighs, your hips, you can drop the knees apart. Bring the soles of the feet together. So choosing the option that serves you right now, meeting yourself where you are feeling in your body. Check in with that. Notice any sensations in your energetic state. As you sense the quality of your breathing just as it is. And in your mental and emotional state, what feels alive in you right now? Begin to take deeper inhales through the nose and let any sound that wants to release out through the mouth. Take a few more of these. I'd like to introduce you to Yoga Sutra, book 3, number 18. And in Sanskrit, it is Samskara Saksatkaranat Purva Jatij Nananam. And it often translates as by direct perception, through samyama, which is meditation and focusing, of one's mental impressions, knowledge of past births is obtained. In an article that I read by Chad Halliburton on Sutra Study, he translated as clear-eyed vision of the mind's habits brings knowledge of our arising. So in yoga philosophy, each time we perceive, experience, or think, we're left with a residual mental mark, an impression on the mind stuff. These are called samskaras. I've mentioned this a few times before. And samskaras are not memories, but they're gut level stirrings beneath memory. They're more deeply ingrained than memory. At the level of instinct. Similar samskaras interact to form personality level tendencies called vasanas in Sanskrit. Together, samskaras and vasanas make up a system of mental shortcuts, so to say, quick ways of placing each new experience into the framework of past learning, schemas. So our mental habits allow us to function on autopilot, as it were. Each time we tie our shoes, we don't need to learn again the process of how to tie your shoes. It's instinctual memory. One burned finger on the stove teaches a lifelong lesson. We won't touch the fire again like that, right? So it serves a purpose on one extent, but problems arise only when we rely on these shortcuts, these autopilot methods, as we interact with others and give shape to the entirety of our lives. Then the autopilot of mental habits leads away from common dangers, but also towards inflexible way of living that also relies on repeated mistakes or missed opportunities, misperceptions. We become, in some sense, a caricature of ourselves if we are just on autopilot much of the time, not really looking at our patterns or samskaras. So that part, Purva Jatijnanam, is talking about reincarnation. And whether or not you believe in having past lives, there's still a jewel in this teaching, in the sutra, because the sutra nudges us to learn to watch our patterns, to learn to watch our psyche, our minds, our interpretations of what that person is doing, what's happening in the world around us. So we can see the samskaras and vasanas at work. We're not just blindly being led by them. Are there interpretations of the world or perceptions of people or limited views about ourselves that we might perpetuate and act daily upon out of autopilot, without questioning, without pausing to notice their effects? Sessions back, we talked about taking a mindful pause when we're feeling triggered and that emotional reactivity starts to stir up. There is an opportunity to pause and take a look at your samskaras. What are the habitual perceptions or instinctual reactions that start to come into play? As we slow down what comes next, then we can become more aware and have freedom of choice. Remember that Yoga Sutra, the mind is the ground for both bondage and liberation. We have the key. So let's take a deep breath in through the nose and one more time out through the mouth. And start to slow down your breathing just through the nose while softly narrowing the back of your throat, thereby using Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing. Here is a wonderful tool for self-regulation, mindful breathing. So continue a rhythmic, sustained, balanced breath pace that you can listen to as you, if your knees are bent apart, you can bring your hands to your outer thighs and help to lift your knees, set your feet on the ground, and take a gradual transition into sitting up. So whether that's turning over to one side or rocking forward, choose your own path of least resistance to get there. You might want to place your 2 blocks to frame the front of your mat for later. And then pause in a comfortable seat as you join your palms in prayer at your heart center, clarifying your sankalpa, your heart-centered intention for your practice today. And maybe choosing someone that you care about to also dedicate your practice to. And together, let's open with the chant of Om. Take a deep breath in. Bow in towards the light of the teacher within you. And continue with your Ujjayi breathing in and out through the nose. Please make your way to downward facing dog, spreading your fingers flat on the ground, tucking your toes, feet hips width apart, parallel, and then lifting your hips as high as you can and as far back away from your hands as you can. Dropping your skull. Take the first few breaths here to dance your downward dog, however you want to move around, and gently loosen the joints in your body, maybe shaking the head a few times, pedaling the feet in place, swiveling the hips left and right, whatever works for you. Spread your fingers really wide. Take a look at your hands and see that your index fingers are both pointing forward. They're parallel to each other, or they're slightly turned out. If you're feeling any tightness in the front of the shoulders, that can help to open them up. Then rotate your outer upper arms towards the floor and protract or spread apart your shoulder blades. Then plug your shoulder bones into their sockets, soften the back of your neck. Remember, you can bend your knees any amount here so that you really feel like you have a flat back, belly firming in, sitting bones pressing back, and heels descending towards the ground. Let's pause, steady your eyes on one spot, and listen to 3 more breaths here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high. Look forward of your fingertips. Empty this breath. Then walk to the front of your mat, standing in a forward fold. Feet apart, hips distance. Parallel your second toes to each other. And then bend your knees. Drop your head. And then take a hold of opposite elbows with your hands. Softly swaying the spine perhaps. Help to loosen the back. Maybe nodding and shaking your head. Loosen the neck, the jaw. Lift the shoulders away from your neck as you drop your head down. And then switch the cross of your arms. Tilt your weight further forward as far as you can balance. Deep breaths. I'm going to start with Surya Namaskar C. Moving to your breath, so listen in. As you inhale, sweep your arms forward, rise to stand, and drop the shoulders behind your ears as you look up, lifting your chest. Exhale, seal your palms to meet in front of your hearts. From the top, sun salutation C, arms by your sides. Again, inhale, sweep your arms forward, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest, look up. Bend your knees and exhale, bow from your hips with a flat back. Place your hands on blocks or the floor outside your feet. Inhale, step, left knee back. Look up in your kneeling lunge. Holding your breath, step into plank pose, knees on the ground or legs straight. As you exhale, knees to the ground, lower your chin and chest as you look forward. Slither your belly and legs flat onto the floor for cobra. Inhale to cobra, peel your shoulders back, broaden your chest. Exhale to downward dog, lift your hips high and back. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb, lower your back knee, look up, kneeling lunge. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rise to stand. Drop your shoulders back, look up. Exhale your palms to meet at your heart. One more, side 2. Inhale your arms forward, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, bow from your hips. Hands on blocks to the floor. Inhale, step right knee back, look up, hold your breath and step to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin, firm the belly in, hug the elbows in. Inhale, slide forward into cobra, ground the tops of your feet as you coil your chest up. Tuck your toes and firm your belly, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb, lower your back knee and look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rise to stand, drop the shoulders, look up. Exhale your palms to meet at your heart. Take a full cycle of breath. Moving into one round of sun salutation A. If the backs of your legs feel pretty warm, you might step your feet together to touch. If they're still warming up, you can keep your feet hips width apart. Arms by your sides. Let's start in mountain pose. Take a deep inhale and circle your arms apart. Watch your palms meet. Hinging from your hips, bow with a flat back over your legs. Press your legs or the floor ahead. Inhale, stretch the top of your head towards the front wall. Walk to plank pose to lower or float lightly to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale into Downward Facing Dog. Let your body be still as you set your eyes on one spot, taking 3 slow breaths. Inhale here, raise your right leg behind you. And as you exhale, bend your right knee and turn out your thigh. Inhaling, tack your left outer hip back. Exhale, step your right foot slowly between your hands for Warrior Two. Bending your left heel down, align your front heel to the arch of your left foot. Then cartwheel your arms to rise up, chest facing your left wall. Get your eyes just past your right fingertips. And feel the outside edge of your left foot rooting into the ground. Feel the big toe mount of your front foot rooting into the ground as you bend the knee right over the heel. Last 3 breaths. Flip your right palm to face up. Keep your front knee bent the same amount. Lift your spine, then side bend towards your back wall, lightly landing your left hand onto your left leg as you stretch into the right side of your torso. Peaceful warrior. Relax the shoulders down. Hug your front ribs towards the back of your body and keep pointing your right knee down the center line of your mat. 2 more breaths. Passing through Warrior Two, straighten your right leg for triangle. Sweep your hips sideways towards your back wall and reach your right hand horizontally forward as far as you can before lowering that hand onto your right leg or just to the right of the leg, perhaps using a block. Tack the crease of your right hip back towards your left outer foot and lengthen the right side of your torso. It might also require lifting your right fingertips higher than where they've landed if you feel any pinching here. Extended triangle pose. From your left shoulder socket, rotate your left outer upper arm to face your left wall. Then extend your left arm overhead towards your front wall while gliding both of your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Keep sealing in your front ribs and spin your chest slightly to face the sky. Last 3 breaths here, an extended triangle pose. Look at your right foot, lower your hands, step into downward facing dog. We'll have plenty of time to flow in a moment. Downward facing dog, take a deep breath in, ease it out through your nose. Inhale, reach your left leg behind you. Exhale, bend the left knee, rotate the thigh open. Inhale, tack your right outer hip back. Exhale, softly step the left foot between your hands. As you spin the right heel down, align your front heel to the arch of your back foot. Inhale, cartwheel your arms to rise up, entering Virabhadrasana 2. Set your eyes just past your left fingertips. Stack your shoulders right above your hips. Lift your frontal hip bones slightly towards your lowest front ribs. Relaxing your shoulders down, feel the reach out through all of your fingertips. 2 more breaths. Keep the same bend in your left knee. Flip your left palm to face up. Lift your spine, then side bend towards your back wall. Peaceful warrior. Land your right hand lightly onto your right leg as you stretch into your left side body. Breathe. Feel your left knee continue to bend in the same direction here, not buckling to the right. Last 2 breaths here. Rise up through warrior 2 and let's prepare for triangle pose. Straighten your left leg and sweep your hips towards your back wall, reaching your left hand towards your front wall before placing that hand on your left leg or just to the left of the leg, maybe using a block. Tack the crease of your left hip back towards your outer right foot while lengthening the crown of your head towards your front wall in an effort to equally lengthen both sides of your torso. Now let's add extended triangle. Rotate your right upper arm externally and sweep it overhead while pressing both shoulders down your back and hugging your front ribs towards the back of your body. Then add a little spinal twist by spiraling your chest slightly to face the sky. Got 3 more breaths here in Uttita Trikonasana. Take a look at your left foot, and this time let's exit by stepping up to the front of your mat. So frame your left foot with your 2 hands and step the right foot to meet it, forward fold. Let's prepare to start a new Vinyasa flow. We've already set the route for part of it. With your feet together touching, bend your knees together touching. Inhale, sit low in chair pose. Exhale, bow over your legs. Press your legs to the floor. Inhale, stretch the crown of your head forward. Walk to Chaturanga or float there. Inhale into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale into Downward Facing Dog. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you, squaring your hips. Exhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb. Feet hips width apart, spin the left heel down and face forward. Inhale, rise up to Warrior 1. Exhale, bend your elbows apart and slide your shoulders down your back. Inhale, cross your left elbow over the right elbow, wrapping the forearms or hooking the thumbs. Lift your chest towards the sky. As you exhale, pull in the belly with a flat back, bow forward to hover off of your right thigh diagonally. Inhale, windmill your arms, align right heel to arch of left foot, turn your chest to the left in Warrior 2. Exhale, flip the right palm up, you'll remember this part. Sweep it back into Peaceful Warrior. Inhale to Warrior 2. Exhale, straighten the right leg, reach the right hand forward and down into triangle pose. Inhale, rotate the left tricep towards the left wall and sweep the arm overhead, extended triangle pose. Exhale from plank into Chaturanga. Take it all the way through your Vinyasa. Back to Downward Facing Dog. Side 2. Inhale, sweep your left leg behind you, squaring your hips. Exhale, step your left foot lightly beside your left thumb. With feet hips width apart, spin the right heel down and face forward. Inhale, rise up to Warrior 1. Exhale, bend your elbows apart, slide the shoulders down like a cactus shape. Inhale, cross the right elbow over the left, eagle arms, lift your chest and forearms towards the sky. Exhale, fold forward diagonally, hinging from your hips from the belly in. Inhale, cartwheel your arms, turn to the right into Warrior 2, heel to arch. Exhale, flip the left palm up, side bend towards your back wall, peaceful warrior. Inhale, rise back to warrior two. Exhale, straighten the left leg, reach your left hand forward and down to triangle pose. Inhale, wrap the right tricep towards the right wall, sweep the arm overhead, extended triangle pose. Exhale from plank, optional vinyasa, maybe cat-cow. I'll meet you in downward dog for a few breaths. Notice the quality of your breathing here as you steady your gaze, your drishti. Are there any patterns to notice in your body as you're transitioning? You tend to do things quickly or extra cautiously. Just things to pay attention to as we notice some scars in the body. You notice some scars in the mind, any mental patterns. We're gonna wrap this up and take another cycle of this vinyasa flow. So empty your breath as you look past your hands. Then walk or float to the top of your mat. With feet touching, forward fold. Press your legs to the ground. Inhale, rise forward halfway up. Exhale, bow again. Bend your knees together. Inhale, sit low in chair pose, raising your arms. Press down to your feet. Exhale, rise up, hands together at your heart in mountain pose. And that's the end of the first cycle. Let's take one more cycle to the breath pace. Slow, mindful breathing and moving. Here we go. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press the legs to the floor, lengthen forward. Walk to chaturanga or float to get there. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb, spin the left heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, cactus the arms apart. Inhale, cross left elbow over right, eagle arms, lift the chest. Exhale, bow forward to a diagonal. Inhale, cartwheel your arms, face left, warrior two. Exhale, sweep it back, peaceful warrior. Inhale, return to warrior two. Exhale, straighten the right leg, reach forward and down to triangle. Inhale, left arm sweeps overhead, extended triangle. Exhale from plank, optional vinyasa. Tune into your breathing. From downward dog, side two, last one. Inhale, sweep your left leg back. Exhale, step the foot beside your left thumb, spin the right heel flat. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, cactus, bend the elbows apart. Inhale, cross the right elbow over the left, eagle arms, lift the chest. Exhale, bow from your hips diagonally. Inhale, windmill the arms, turn to the right in warrior two. Exhale, sweep the left palm back in peaceful warrior. Inhale, rise again to warrior two. Exhale, straighten left leg, reach your left hand forward and down, triangle. Inhale, sweep your right arm overhead, extended triangle. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa, or none, take rest when you need. We'll meet in downward dog. Three deep breaths. What do you notice? At the end of your third exhalation, walk or lightly float to the front of your mat. Inhale, press your legs to the ground, lengthen forward. Exhale, bow in. Knees together, inhale, sit low in chair pose. Exhale, rise all the way up to stand. This time, you have to bend your elbows apart. Let's take the full-on eagle pose, your variation. Cross your right elbow over the left. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Bend your knees together, sit in chair pose, and steady your gaze just ahead. Shifting your weight onto your right foot, turn out your left thigh, and flexing the left foot. Cross the left leg as much as you can over the right. You might tuck the toes behind your right calf, you might not. But align your elbows and knees down the center of your body and maybe sit a little lower. That may help to ground. Let's take 5 full breaths in Garudasana, eagle pose. Start to lift your left knee in front of you, standing on your right foot as you flex the left. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Left hand inside of the left leg. Now we're coming into hand to big toe pose. So if it's far away to clasp your left big toe with your index and middle fingers, grab a strap and step the ball of your left foot into the loop or the center of that strap instead. Holding the strap as an extension of your arm as you extend the left leg forward to your degree. So either way, as you're extending the left leg forward, plug your left shoulder bone back into its socket and down. Level the height of your 2 shoulders, stacked above your 2 leveled hips. Notice if the left hip starts to hike up because you're lifting the leg forward. Draw the left sitting bone down towards your inner right heel and re-level your hips. Draw your navel in and lift it up. Feel your center here, strong and active. How's your breath? Now extend your right arm up. Feel the counter force of kicking your left foot forward and pulling it towards you with your left hand. Use that to find balance. Feel the counter force of pressing downward to the 4 corners of your right foot to lift up through the center of your body. Last 3 breaths in Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Now from here, we're going to create the same shape in our bodies, most of it, in Warrior 3. So bring your hands to your heart and slowly, like a seesaw, tilt your torso forward until it's parallel to the floor. Extend your left leg back until it's parallel to the floor. And it may help to bend your right knee if you're feeling tightness in the hamstring here. Tack the right outer hip back. Equally lengthen both left and right sides of your torso. Hug the front ribs towards your back like you would in plank pose. Flex the left foot as if you're pressing into the back wall. Breathe. You might splay the arms apart. You might reach them overhead. You've got 3 more breaths in Virabhadrasana 3. From here, rise to stand, left foot next to the right, in Tadasana, mountain pose. Release your arms by your sides, and as you take 3 deep breaths, is there anything that you notice in mind or body? And then from here, keep touching together. Practice bend your elbows apart. Breathe. Cross your left elbow over the right elbow. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. then sit into chair pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot and turn out your right thigh at the hip. Flex your right foot as you wrap the right leg over the left to your capacity. Maybe tucking the right toes behind the left calf. Stack your elbows and knees down the midline of your body. See if you might be able to sit a little lower, as that can help to balance. Let's take 5 breaths. Eagle pose, Garudasana. As you regulate your breathing, notice anything come up in your mind stuff. You pay attention. Now start to lift your right knee in front of you. Flex the foot, standing on one leg. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Maybe grab your strap with your right hand, or take your right big toe with your right peace fingers. Play with counter forces. As you're kicking the right foot forward to your degree of straightening the leg, pull the foot towards you and plug the right shoulder into its socket and down. As you balance the height of your 2 shoulders, you create center here at your chest. Then as you balance the height of your 2 hips, you create center here at your navel. Stack those centers like you would stack your chakras. Then press down to your left foot, lift through the center line of your body. How's your breathing? When you're ready, raise your left arm up, and let's finish off 3 to 5 more breaths. In hand to big toe pose. Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. All right, let's create the same shape, similar shape, in Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Join your hands at your heart like a seesaw, tilt your torso forward, and extend your right leg back until you create a parallel line to the floor. Now it can help to bend the left knee here as you tack the outer left hip back and re-level your 2 hips. Hug your front ribs towards the back of your body, grow your sternum and crown forward, and then play with any variations of your arms you want to play with. We've got about 3 more breaths. When you're ready, step the right foot next to the left. In Tadasana, arms by your sides. Taking 3 deep breaths. Noticing anything you might notice. From here, come on down to your hands and knees, please. Extend your arms forward, turn the palms face down to start, and rotate your outer upper arms towards the ground. External rotation of the upper arm bones. We've been practicing this all month, or we're halfway through the month. So let's continue. We'll start in dolphin pose. Place your bent elbows on the ground, shoulders width apart, not any wider or narrower. Interlace your fingers and root down to your outer wrists, forearms and elbows to lift up. Use those counter forces like we did in the standing balancing postures. From here, draw your shoulder blades apart, protract them, and deep press them away from your neck. Hug the front ribs towards your back body. Tuck your toes, take a deep breath. Firm in the belly and lift your hips. Now you could keep the knees bent if needed. Press your chest back towards your shins. Keep your shoulders slightly behind the elbows, not rolling forward of them. If your elbows start to slide apart, wider than shoulders width, come back down to your knees and adjust. You want to make sure they stay shoulders width. Taking another 3 to 5 breaths here, see if it's possible to walk your feet forward closer to your elbows while pressing the top fronts of your thigh bones back. How's your breathing? Dolphin pose. When you're ready, come down to your knees and let's rest for 3 breaths in Balasana, child's pose. Placing your arms wherever you like. Round 2, optional to lift a leg and then switch. That it the same way. Externally rotate your upper arm bones, interlace your fingers, elbows on the ground, shoulders width, tuck your toes and lift your hips. Press your chest back, maybe walk your feet forward and together. If you're going to lift a leg, hug your outer hips towards your midline and flex the lifted foot, keeping it solidly straight, the leg that is, as you spiral the inner thigh towards the back of the room, keeping your hips from turning out. And then after a few breaths, you might switch legs or switch legs on the last round. Got one more round after this. When you're ready, 3 breaths in child's pose, Balasana. Now, as we play with the option to move into Virshasana, supported headstand, I invite you to use a block, maybe 2 blocks. Place them side by side like this, where you can step right onto the middle of them and elevate your feet, which will give you some leeway if you have any tightness in your lower back or your hamstrings, because we're gonna put the crown of the head on the floor, which will be a little lower than just the forearms. So if you have any neck issues, don't put the crown of your head on the floor, just come back to dolphin pose, your variation of it. In fact, you can go into that if you prefer. Now, those of you that are gonna play with Virshasana with me, or the stages of getting into it, come onto your knees and place your tucked toes onto the center of each block. Then, place your elbows on the floor, shoulders distance, create your triangular base, wrap the triceps towards the back of the room, and plug the shoulders in your sockets. Bring the crown of your head to the floor. Make sure it's the very crown of the head, not the hairline or the back of the head. So the back of your skull is lightly supported by the inner palms. Root down to your forearms and lift your shoulders away from your neck. Maintain the natural length and curvature of your neck, the entire headstand. Tuck your toes, lift your pelvis, and then see if you might walk the toes closer to your elbows. Maybe come up higher on the toes, but keep pressing the floor away with your forearms. Lift the shoulders away from your neck. As you scoop the belly in, you're shifting your weight forward, might just start to lift both feet off the floor or one foot off the floor. You might think of boat pose, Navasana, in which you scoop the belly in, maybe start to lift both legs up. If both legs are up, bring your feet together and press your big toe mounds up towards the ceiling, flexing your feet. Stretch your tailbone up towards your inner heels. Hug your front ribs in. Keep lifting the shoulders away from your neck. And after you finish at least 5 breaths in whatever inversion you're now practicing, let's meet again in child's pose. Inhale through your nose. Take a long sigh through your mouth. Then gently roll yourself up to stand on your knees for camel pose. Take a block with you, please, and use the skinniest width to hug firmly between your thighs as you tuck your toes behind you. Place your hands on your lower back with your fingertips face down and hug your bent elbows close together. Notice how that broadens your collarbones. Keep that action and stretch your tailbone downward towards the ground between your knees. Lift your frontal hip bones slightly towards your lowest front ribs. Lift your back ribs, create length in the lower back. And right under your shoulder blades, where we had that medium-sized block at the beginning of our practice, begin to back bend. Coil your chest up as you drop the shoulder bones behind you and down, lifting your chest for 5 breaths. Now, if reachable, place one hand to hold one heel, like a baseball, maybe both hands, only as long as you can keep your pelvis stacked above your knees and not cause any strain in your lower back. Deep breaths. Ustrasana, camel pose. When you're ready to come out of it, place both hands on your lower back, contract your abdomen and roll your spine slowly upright. Maybe use the block between your ankles to sit on and rest for 3 breaths, perhaps placing your hands at your heart center. Sense the effects of that posture. We've got 2 more rounds of camel pose. As you're ready to, skinny block between the thighs, tuck your toes, or untuck your toes if you want your heels to be further away. Press the hips forward, coil the chest up, 5 breaths, your count. And when you're ready to, rest again, sitting for 3 breaths. Take the third, the last camel pose on your own, and then let's all meet sitting down when you're ready. As you eventually make your way down to sit, please bring your legs out in front of you, and let's prepare for a seated spinal twist to help neutralize the spine. So as I'm mirroring you, extend your left leg forward, step your right foot either on the ground in front of your right hip or cross it outside of your left knee. You might also bend the left knee there. Just make sure your 2 sitting bones are evenly grounded and your spine is tall. Place your right hand on the ground behind your pelvis and raise your left arm. Sit up a little taller each breath in. And exhale, twist to your right, lowering your left arm to hold your shin. Or hooking the elbow outside of your thigh. Taking 4 more breaths here. Continue to twist. At the end of this exhalation, unwind your spine and straighten your right leg forward for side 2. Set up the same way if you can. Step the left foot in front of the hip or outside of the right knee. Maybe bend the right knee too. Place your left hand behind your pelvis and raise your right arm. Sit up a little taller as you breathe in. Twist to the left as you breathe out. Lower your right arm. Maybe hook the elbow outside the thigh. Taking 4 more breaths. As you empty the breath, unwind your spine. Extend your 2 legs forward, preparing for a seated forward fold. You might move the flesh aside from your sitting bones. You might grab a strap and place it around the balls of your feet. Flex your feet, hips width apart. Take a deep breath and lengthen the front and back of your spine, relaxing your shoulders down. Hug the front ribs in and reach your sternum forward, breath by breath. If you're not using a strap, you can either hold on to the backs of your legs, or if reachable without rounding the back, clasp your big toes like we did in hand to big toe pose. Draw the shoulder blades down your back and find a slight lift in your chest like a baby cobra. Let's take 4 more breaths here in Paschimottanasana. Inhale, slowly rise all the way up to sit. And let's prepare for Shavasana. Find a way to place your body comfortably. Maybe using a rolled up blanket underneath the backs of your knees. If you have any tension in the lower back you'd like to bring ease to. Maybe using something for your head like a pillow. Maybe using a strap to cover your eyes with. Get comfortable. And once you're all the way down, close your eyes. Imagine you could breathe into your whole physical body, into the soles of your feet, expand the breath all the way to the top of your head, all into the body. Hold the breath in. Through the lips, slowly empty the breath. We're going to do that one more time at your pace when you're ready. Inhaling through the nose, filling up the whole body in your mind's eye. Holding the breath for a few seconds. And then exhaling everything out through your lips. Then let it go. Let go of controlling your breath. Rest in stillness. Full awareness. The chant or mantra being sung right now by Deva Premal is Om Asatoma. It's a peace chant that calls on being awakened from darkness, bringing to light what is in the shadows. Very appropriate as we talk about noticing our samskaras. as you continue to lie in stillness. Sense the effects of your asana yoga, your physical yoga, in any of your layers of being. Be gentle with yourself as you start to move your body easily in your own way, coming out of stillness, perhaps moving the head, stretching the feet, your hands, your arms. You might draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. Thank you for showing up, following through with your practice. You might turn gently to your right side, pause a moment, bring mindfulness into your transition. And as you're ready, I'll meet you in a comfortable seat. Feel free to grab a blanket or a pillow to sit on. Make yourself comfortable where you can truly root down into the surface below. Lift up tall through the center of your spine. Relax your shoulders and lift your heart. Rest your hands in your lap, maybe thumb and first finger touching, or stack the palms face up at the center of your lap. Choose to either close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on one spot just ahead. Begin by sensing your body breathing in its natural way. As we continue exploring Yoga Sutra 3.18, cultivating clear perception of our most ingrained patterns of psyche, I invite you to observe what comes up in your mind stuff as you're sitting here for the next 5 minutes. Notice when you're pulled away by the mind stuff, following a thought into a storyline, or becoming reactive in the body. Simply notice. There's nothing else you need to do. Notice, and as you notice that you're noticing, give yourself the freedom to be in the present moment. Let's begin. notice what you noticed, tendencies of where your attention goes, reactions in the body, all good information, nothing to judge ourselves about. You might bring your palms to your heart in prayer, bowing in, perhaps thanking yourself for doing the inner work. It's not easy to sit in stillness and really pay attention to our patterns of mind. Thank you for joining me in community, sharing your practice, inspiring each other, inspiring me. Together, let's close chanting one Om. Take a deep breath in. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.